Hi, is that better?
Hello.
Hi.
I've changed over to a different network, so hopefully that's going to be better.
Okay.
So.
Right, well, we're going to get on and just start interviewing.
Okay.
As you know, it's going to be piecemeal, so we'll just go through it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So who's the first student? We're both going to. Okay.
I'll go.
Okay. Are you Harry?
Yeah.
Harry. Harry's interviewing first. Can you introduce yourselves? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Harry.
How you doing?
Very well.
I'm Harry and I'm head speaker of Group 1.
I think you should have a badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's next time. Let's just start the questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Please fire away. Looking forward to them.
So, when did you first know you wanted to be an illustrator?
Oh goodness. Well, I think probably. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, okay. I think probably it was towards the end of my foundation course at the very college that you're all at just now. And it was, thankfully, it was a tutor. I think he was a guy called John Marshall, who was head of the illustration course at the time. And he actually kind of, well, he was obviously a very experienced artist and teacher, but he kind of saw before I did that I had a kind of skill for illustrating and for visual storytelling, and he kind of said, well, I think that's what you should do, those are the courses that you should be applying to go on, and actually as soon as he said that, it made perfect sense to me, and the rest is history. I went on to do a degree in illustration, and I'm an illustrator now, so yeah.
So, would you say that was a kind of your environment around you played a key part, or was it just from that foundation course you knew then that you wanted to be an illustrator? Was there any significant time before that?
I think that's a really good question. I think that probably when I reflected back, prior to me going to Carlisle, I always loved drawing. I always loved stories and reading stories, and I loved kind of making up my own stories about things. Whether it was kind of writing things down, or generally it was tended to be, this probably sounds a bit daft, but it tended to be more focused around playing with Lego, very trendy these days, and I would just make all sorts of little figures and characters and little towns, and I would quite happily talk away to myself and create little stories and scenarios about all these funny little characters. And also like my Cindy dolls as well, and my Cindy horse. And I would play and I would make up stories with them. And I think, on reflection, that was actually really important, because I think it showed that there was that interest in storytelling. And along with the kind of love of drawing, always loved drawing and art and everything. I think those two combined, really. And I think that was what my tutor at Carlisle saw. And he said, look, never mind things like theatre design or jewellery design, which was all very exciting. And I had a little chance to kind of try these things out when I was a student in Carlisle. But he said, no, forget all of that. Your natural talent is with illustration. So yeah, I think it had been there all along. I just didn't realise it, basically. So yeah, good question.
So, other than your teacher at your foundation course, was there anybody else who kind of influenced you before that, or maybe even after, kind of support the knowledge you already knew about yourself?
Oh my goodness. I think, obviously as soon as I knew that I was going to be studying illustration, and I got placed on the course at Edinburgh College of Art to do that, I did start to look at illustration a bit more, and things like graphic design, and I started the whole kind of thing, so, visual communications or subject really. And we were encouraged to do that anyway as students, but I think, I was thinking, what is this group, this club that I'm going to be joining, of illustrators? Who are they? I mean, obviously as a child, I kind of was aware of people like, well, one of my favourite illustrators from a child was a guy called Tommy Ungerer, who is still alive to this day. He's about 93 or something. And he does the most amazing little line drawings and things. I absolutely love his work. And it's one of the few books that I've kept from my childhood that still it's sitting up. I've got a bookshelf over there, and it's sitting up there. In fact, I'll go get it. Hang on a second.
The benefits of FaceTime.
This is the book, and it's even got some of my doodles on it. I think it does. But this book was published in like the 1960s. I think it was my sister's. But if you can see, he does these really sort of anarchic little line drawings, you know. I mean, this book's called Beastly Boys and Ghastly Girls, and it's all different sort of funny little poems. And they're really violent. I really love this book. But there's like pictures of them. They're just little black and white line drawings. But like, oh, there's the lion, like eating the boy, and oh, it's violent. But actually, and I then, when I was at college, went on to discover Edward Gorey, who I don't know if you've ever heard of, but he also, I think it's that kind of dark sense of humour. He also did a series, the name escapes me, but it was basically ways that children died, and there was all sorts of kind of gruesome ways that they died. But it kind of funny as well, you know. But they were great little black and white drawings. So I think those kind of people informed me. And then I don't know, kind of just looking at lots of different kind of design and illustrating and lettering as well. I really love a Spanish artist called Javier Mariscal, who I discovered when I was at college, when I was at Glasgow School of Art. I did a postgrad there. And he just has the most fun with his work. This kind of humour comes through. Drawing, lettering, I mean, he kind of turns his hand to everything. He makes furniture, he does animations, but he just seemed to have lots of fun doing it. And I think that was a really important lesson for me as well, is that you can kind of create serious work, but it can still be fun, it can still be funny as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's a kind of, I can't even remember what the question was. But yeah, it gives an idea of some of the people that I've looked at.
So that was kind of early starts of the style that you wanted to kind of go into. Do those people, especially the book that you just showed us then, is that kind of something that's resonated into your own style from like an early age, or was it a very deliberate thing?
I think not from an early age, and it's maybe, this might be quite difficult for you guys to understand because you're kind of in the middle of your education, or maybe just starting your art education. But I think, certainly for me, you go through a phase at art school where you are incredibly pretentious, you know, and you have to do very sort of arty things and abstract things, and read very sort of highfalutin books, and nothing is funny or anything. But then I think you kind of have a realisation, and kind of, you want to kind of be honest about the work that you do if you're going to be doing it. And I think, you kind of go back to basics and to your sort of, the instincts that you have. And I've always loved sort of doing quick little pen drawings in my sketchbooks or, wherever on the back of an envelope. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've picked this book, is because it's always appealed to me. But I think I had to go through a phase of doing work that was, I don't know, more serious, if you like, looking at all sorts of, hard and heavy topics, and trying to kind of decipher them when I was a student, and then actually kind of returning to this kind of work, which I actually was always doing on the side. It was always there in my sketchbooks and things, in sort of moments when I thought no one was looking, which sounds a bit daft, but I've still got sketchbooks from when I was a student, and I look through them, and there is always these funny little doodles that are going on of little faces and little people and stuff, alongside the I'm doing a project about alcoholism, or cosmetic surgery or something like that. It was always there, and I needed to just have a look at myself. when I was graduating and kind of beyond that, and say, well, what is it that I actually really like drawing and like doing? What really is my own voice? So I would say that I didn't necessarily find that at college, but it was all part of the process of getting there, which was important.
Well, would you mind swapped over now?
No, not at all.
These questions are very helpful. And,
Thank you. They were good questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have a drink of coffee. Would you like it?
Yeah, it's coffee.
It's coffee. Hello.
Hello, my name's Marisa.
Hello, Marisa.
Okay, right, first questions. Do you think you learned more as a student, or do you think you've learned more since as a practicing illustrator?
Well, I am ancient. It's been how many years since so I went to Carlisle and did my foundation course, then I did my degree at Edinburgh, which was, I went into second year, so it was 3 years there. And then I went straight to Glasgow and did a year there. And I graduated in Glasgow in 1992. So I've been a practicing illustrator for quite a long time. And I think I learned so much at college. That's quite a good question to come on the back of Harry's last question there about his last question. And it's like the last question, but I answered some of that. I think I learned a lot at college. I learned a lot about drawing, a lot about researching, worked through all sorts of things. But I think really what college, it certainly didn't do back then. But I think courses, illustration courses are doing a lot more about this now. But they didn't really teach you about the business of being an illustrator. And I think that I really just had to learn that as I went along, making mistakes and massive cock-ups and all sorts of things. So I've learned a load of stuff since I left college, and I think that I continue to learn things, which is good, and I enjoy doing that. It can be, and it's still kind of fly by the seat of your pants stuff. It can be a bit scary. So for instance, at the moment, I'm starting to do more work with children's publishers. And that's kind of started in the last couple of years. And doing illustration for kind of children's publishers and children's books, that's a whole different ballgame. And I've actually, the other day, I ended up phoning one of my ex-students, who is a very wonderful book illustrator and writes her own books as well, asking her for advice. And I love that. She's a very experienced children's book illustrator now and has lots of books to her name, very successful. Holly Surplus, if you want to know who it is, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that. And she was the right person for me to call to get advice, about a particular contract that I was slithering about signing. So I think you're always learning about things, and I'm never too proud to ask someone else for help in getting advice about how to do something and how to do it better. So yeah. Hope that answers that question.
Yes, it definitely does.
Thank you.
So off the back of that, something else is always developing is technology, and do you think that's changing the way that you work and are still learning your skill as well?
Oh, definitely. Okay, so I'm sitting talking to you on a very newly purchased toy, a little Apple iPad Pro, which I got the other day along with the Apple Pencil, which I actually can't locate at the moment. It's terrible. It's too like a pencil. You lose it too easily. So I bought that specifically to, the thing was designed, I think, for kind of creatives, like us. But I bought that to learn and try out a different way of creating work when I'm on the move so much. Because clients don't say, oh, sorry, you're traveling for 5 days. You still have to kind of do work for them. Yeah. And I mean, I work digitally anyway. Well, I work traditionally and then scan it in, and I work on, I've got a big desktop computer over there, and a scanner and a Wacom tablet and all these kind of things. But the minute you have to sort of take all of that, well, not the desktop computer, I mean, I usually take a laptop. So I've got a laptop as well, I'm really teched up. But, you know, you try and take that when you're going away somewhere for 5 days and you're trying to go hand luggage over it. It's a nightmare. And, you know, added on all the sort of tech stuff to go with it, and plugs that fit and connectors and adapters. So yeah, I do have to keep up to date with technology, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of invested, if you like, in an iPad Pro, and I love it. It's really lovely for drawing on, and I think it's going to work out okay for kind of, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to end up doing all my work on it, because I like working on paper. I like that process of sort of playing around paper into digital and back and forth, but I think it's going to be a good little tool to sling in the handbag and, you know, do a few doodles for an art director, not tell them that I'm, you know, doing it any other way. So yeah, technology, definitely have to keep up to date with that, yeah.
Okay, next question I have written down. Yeah, so in terms of studio space, when you're not travelling around and you're at home, so studio's at home, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Do you prefer to work sort of...
See my studio? Can you see it?
Yeah.
I tidied it up before this interview. I did quick tidy. That corner's not very tidy. But... and then there's my desk and my computer and everything over there. So yeah, we're in my studio. There we go. Sorry, interrupting you.
It's always helps to have a tidy studio. I like to tidy my corner in the morning.
Tidy's the mind,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so have you always preferred to work sort of on your own in the studio? Have you ever worked in like a group studio? Does that help or affect your work at all?
Okay, yes, I have. Well, first of all, I loved being at college, and I loved being with everybody at college, but having your own desk at college.
Yeah.
I mean, I know with some colleges, I don't know if it's the same with you guys in Carlisle, but in some colleges now, they can't give a permanent desk to everybody. There's just too many students, and you know, so you can't create your own little area that's got your stuff in it, and you can pin up all your bits and bobs and stuff. But I was lucky, I had that at college, and I loved that, and it was kind of zoned off. So you kind of could get on with your work, but at the same time, you had the buzz of everything going on around you. And I did like that, and I think I didn't get distracted too much. So after college, I wanted to kind of try and keep up that sort of atmosphere. So I ended up sharing a studio with two other illustrators, two other guys that I knew from art college. And we shared a little space together, and that was really good, but it's very expensive. And then I bought a flat, and I worked from there, and I really liked that. But it was that first sense of, okay, I'm working on my own here, I need to be quite self-disciplined about this, and I wasn't self-disciplined at all. I was absolutely rubbish at it. So I think that was a sort of learning process. It was like, okay, you're not always going to be able to rent a studio. You're not, you know, you're going to have to work from home. It's financially actually makes better sense to do that, or it did, you know, did at the time. So you need to find different ways of kind of meeting up with people and connecting with people, and not, you know, sort of tearing your hair out with loneliness, you know. And then I shared a studio with another illustrator, and that was really good fun. And then I moved. This was while I was all still in Edinburgh, and then I moved here to Fife, and I live in this little fishing village, a very picturesque village. But my husband and I bought this house, and it's, you know, got quite a bit of space in it, and I do have this room, which is my studio, and I go through phases of, oh God, I hate, you know, working on my own, and it's so horrible and everything, to, oh my goodness me, get me away from people, you know. I like having my own space where I can, you know, put all my own stuff, and you can see it's quite cluttered in here, though tidy, cluttered, you know. But I also, because, you know, in the house, because I work from home, I do have other areas that I like to work in as well. It's a sort of change of environment. So I do quite often work in the kitchen. And there's a room at the top of the house that I quite often, it's a big table, and I do lots of kind of framing and kind of set up all sorts of big work there where there's a bit more space. So yeah, I kind of move around. I try to move around a bit more instead of just sitting in front of my computer and
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I like both. I like having a studio with lots of people, but I like working on my own as well. So it changes all the time. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was the last question.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Did I answer that question?
Yes, you did. At the end, yeah.
I've got a low attention span.
Hello. Right,
Hello.
it's me again. And before you go...
Oh, is that it? There are no more questions?
Yes, this is the class here. Behind me. So there's far more of them than you can see. But it would be really useful because we're going to have a debrief about the process of asking questions and the process of interviewing, and also what process has been used to create the questions. Can you give any feedback just on the type of questions and the interviews at all?
Well, I have to say, I thought they were. Sorry, someone waved. People waved at me through my window, so I have to wave back. Sorry, up to my eye. Right, sorry. Yeah, I actually did think they were a really good set of questions. I know I was sort of saying to you yesterday that I get contacted by a lot of students wanting to interview me for their thesis or for coursework or whatever. And I think one of the things that really annoys me is that people don't do their research properly, and they maybe, there's lots about me online, including on my kind of website, my blog and Facebook page and everything. But I do feel that all of the questions that were asked today actually went a little bit beyond. And I think they were really interesting questions, and I think hopefully my lengthy answers were indicative that they were good questions. So I think it was good. They were a little bit more searching, and I think that's always really it makes it more interesting for me to answer them, not just the same old questions that you get about all sorts of things. So that was good. I like that.
That's cool. I'm just going to ask, does anybody want to say anything at all about the interview?
I enjoyed it.
Everybody enjoyed it? Anybody else? No, we can have a full and frank discussion, of course, but not just about you, about everything. So, no? That's it? Okay, well, I'd like to say thanks so very much for being our guinea pig today.
Quite all right. I mean, there was no technical issues in the end.
No,
so,
amazing. And what you've had to say is really fascinating and very helpful, so thanks very much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to help out, and lovely to meet you all, virtually.
That's great. They'll all be asking for more interviews later, but anyway.
That's absolutely fine.
Thank you very much again. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.